So, recently, Raquel Pennington, one of the storylines at the end of this fight, she felt pretty disrespected about where Holly Holm was. A lot of the attention that Holly Holm was getting. A lot of people were talking about Holly in terms of the title picture. Do you feel the same way about that? Is that...
You know what, one of the things that I think that prides me most on my career is not worrying about what other people are doing and worrying about what I'm doing. But in this instant, I feel like there's a lot of hype behind Holly, and that's because of her boxing career. And I feel like going into this fight, you know, Pennington should really look at it as like the pressure's not on her. The pressure's on Holly to perform. So I feel like for Holly, it's a sense of she's the one that felt the pressure on her. She's the one who's got to win. You know what I mean? Like, everyone expects her to win. She's the one who's got the target on her back right now.
So can you talk about your career and what you expect from tonight and how that might play into it?
Well, I definitely think, in what a sense, for the Holly and the Holly Pennington fight?
What's riding on tonight?
I'm above them, and I don't say that in a disrespectful way, but I've been in MMA, I have over 20 fights. I have been in this business for many years. Just because you're just now seeing me in the UFC doesn't mean that I don't deserve to be here and I don't deserve my chance at the title. So for me, that fight doesn't... It's another awesome opportunity for people to showcase that 135 is an amazing division with an amazing amount of talent and so many different types of looks. I'm more interested in the main event. That's where I know I'm going to be, and that's where I deserve to be.
You know, it's interesting, you said no disrespect, but I remember you had one of your fights was pretty close, and people were sort of surprised after that you didn't bow. I believe it was Sarah, right?
Yep.
And people kind of thought, well, Jessica should show a little more respect. Sarah's, been here for so long. Do you feel a sense of people almost wanting to force you, yes, to acknowledge your elders, but be a respectful young fighter, or do you feel that, you know what, you're here and deal with it?
Well, you know, at the same time, did people forget? I remember when Strikeforce called me to fight Jan Finney when Jan Finney was still fighting, and I said no to that fight because I was going to Bellator at the time. So, I've been in this business, so when people talk about the elders, I look back at all these girls that have these fights. I've been in this business since 2005. I was doing women's MMA when women's MMA wasn't women's MMA. No one cared about it. No one even cared about the UFC. I even remember they were still at Blockbusters getting rented. So for me, it's like, what respect do I have to give? Like, don't I deserve the same respect? I'm fighting a previous champion, coming up a weight class. So I feel like I'm in the mix. I feel like I don't owe anybody anything, and just like they don't owe me anything.
Do you feel though that there's something or that you need to do to get that acknowledgement, to put yourself on the map a little more so that your name is in the conversation more?
I think I just did. I just busted Leslie Smith's ear off. So I feel like, what do you guys, I think they needed to see something from me. I came off a terrible split decision, and mentally in my mind I didn't lose it, but unfortunately that day the judges happened to see it that way. But for me it was about changing, and I was like, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm proving myself. I know what my purpose is in the UFC, and I know what my purpose has been in MMA since I started, and I believe that, and I will always believe that until the day that I decide to step out of this sport. So for me it's like, I don't know, I guess I just believe in that a sense.
And what reaction did you get after that fight with the quote-unquote the ear?
Oh man, everybody loved it. I loved the feedback that I got from everybody. I love that it went viral on World Star. I love that people now not only am I known for my amazing striking in the women's division and my ability to use the cage, but my ability to punch people's ears off. So it's like, now I get categorized with Mike Tyson, even though it's not for the same reason, but I'm categorized in that fighter that busts ears off.
Are you gonna shoot for the ear the next time you fight somebody?
Listen,
fight for that ear?
Who knows? They might be going for my ears.
Jessica, eyes and ears. I think we're working on something here.
I think we're onto something now. I do. I think we're onto something.
Do you think that you're next in line for a title shot?
I most certainly do. And it kind of made me even feel better after Dane at the conference earlier when someone had mentioned it about, I wasn't there personally, I was out hanging out with my amazing fans. But I had heard that someone had mentioned Holly, and he says, I think that Jessica I is in better line for that. So if you're hearing it from the boss, needless to say, I think we all know what's going to be happening after tonight.
Is there a woman you'd rather fight, Ronda or Kat?
I don't care, line them all up. We got to fight them all eventually. It's a process of elimination. I've never, it was so funny. People are always like, Jessica, you got to call people out. You got to say things. I don't call people out. That's not my style. Why doesn't someone call me out? Why don't you call me out? You want to fight me so bad? Call me out. Why don't you say something? You know, so for me, that's not my style. I do all my fighting in the cage, and all my extra energy doesn't go to hating other people. It goes to loving my fans and being here with you guys.
Well, someone who does like to call people out is sitting right behind us, Betchka Heda, also wearing a lovely pink dress.
Yeah.
Girls,
Hey,
I know.
great minds think alike. Good fighters think alike.
Well, I'm curious what you think about her attitude, because she is unafraid to name names, call people out.
Listen, the great thing about women's MMA and just MMA in general is you're allowed to be who you are. You don't have to be the kind of person that calls people out. You can be the kind of person that calls people out. And there's a million personalities in this world. You know, it's just maybe your personality might fit for other people, and you'll get those fans, and then you'll get the other fans that fit their personality. So you know what, like, I refuse to be somebody I'm not. And I am who I am, and I've been successful this far. I have been in MMA, like I said, from the beginning. And I think it will put me on the top. It will put me over the top and be the person that changes the women's division, because at some point change is coming. It's the inevitable.
I saw some quotes from you recently about Ronda Rousey, and you actually like her. You're actually like almost a fan of
Are you
her.
kidding
Yeah.
me? It's Ronda Rousey. Who wouldn't be? Like, I don't gotta hate someone else. She's amazing. Look what she's done for women's MMA. You guys would not be sitting here talking to me if it wasn't for her. So, you know, I'm a gracious woman. Okay? I appreciate the things that make me better.
Not a lot of people feel the same way as you do. What do you think about that? So a lot of the other women don't think that way, the same way that you do.
I don't know, are they maybe a little catty, I guess? I mean, my God, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for her. Show some respect. You know? I mean, listen, I don't gotta hate, like I said this before. I will never hate the other fighters. I'll never give them that fuel. I'm always gonna respect the people that deserve to be respected. And I'm not gonna disrespect the people that don't even deserve my respect. I just don't acknowledge you. I don't even see them.
Do you think? I'm sorry. No, it's okay. So a fight between you and Ronda. What do you think of that? Is that a fight that like you respect her so much that's a fight that you want?
Let me tell you something. I want gold. Okay? Whoever has it, I want that. I'm not married. You don't see any gold on my fingers. I mean, I could put one around my waist. At least I put it there. So, you know, to me, like, why wouldn't I? If it wasn't Ronda who had it, if it was somebody else, I would want to shoot for that. Just like Ronda even says, like, why wouldn't I look at myself like I'm the best? Why wouldn't I expect myself to be up there? You know, why wouldn't I expect that from me?
Did you happen to watch the Invicta show last night and see Chris Cyborg and Charmaine too?
No, I didn't actually. I was doing some other appearances, so I didn't get to. But I went back and, you know, I do my little late night creeping to make sure I know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did. I actually ran into her when I was getting coffee this morning. So, you know, I graciously said to her, you know, hello, good job and everything. I mean, look, I feel bad for Cyborg in those ways. People attack her a lot, you know what I mean? Like, and you know what, like, yet again, the media can sometimes, and no offense to you guys, it can make you seem different, and they might think that she's somebody she's not. You know, they look at her as like this big mouth or something, and that's not true. You know, like, look, when when Cyborg gets down to 35, let's really worry about the big picture when she really gets there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the number one thing. Other than that, like, look, I don't see that fight happening.
Do you think that's a formality? Do you think like, there's no way she ever does not come down to 135?
She's a big girl, man. But to see her down there at 35, I mean, that's hard. That was like when someone asked me to go to 115. I was like, I'm sorry, are you crazy? I struggled at 25. Okay, 35 is the perfect home for me. I've been able to put on a little bit more muscle this year, too.
But there's people that say that Ronda should go up to 140. Do you think Ronda should have to do that?
No, she's the champ. She's the champ. Like, you want a piece of the champ, you go down there and get it. That's like you saying, oh, I want some cake right now, you know, so I'm gonna call someone else and tell them to bring it to me. You're the one who wants it, go get it. If you want it, go get it. I want the title, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And that's bust people's ears off, break legs, I don't even care. Whatever I gotta do, elbow faces, I'm on it.
So you stood next to Cyborg this morning getting coffee. Do you think that she could get down to 135? I mean, you do it.
I personally do not think so. But we don't know what other people go through. You know, that's not my place to give it. The only thing I can have a place or a true opinion is saying when she gets down to 35 and she's in the UFC, then I'll worry about it. Other than that, I got all these other girls to worry about. I'm not worrying about someone who's not thrown in my mix yet. Let her go over there and do her thing. Respect her for being at 45 and respect us for being at 35.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse.
Anything else? We good? Awesome. Thanks, guys. You all rock. Thank you.